Okay, continuing with the homework 9 notes. Determines the slopes of parallel and perpendicular lines. All right, the key things here is parallel lines have equal slope, so they have the same slope. Perpendicular lines have slopes that are negative reciprocals. I like to call it opposite reciprocals. Meaning their signs are different, okay? So you're going to, for this, you're going to flip the slope and then change the sign. All right, so the slope of the line is given. Determine the slope of the line parallel and perpendicular to each line if possible. Okay, so parallel. If this line they give you this has a slope of -3/8, the parallel line is going to have -3/8. Perpendicular, you are going to the negative reciprocal or opposite reciprocal. Opposite means it's going to be positive. Reciprocal means flip it. Don't forget to flip it and change the sign. Right here, parallel, same slope. So our slope's going to be 20. Perpendicular, you're going to flip it and change the sign. This is 20 over 1, so you're going to have 1 over 20. This is positive, so perpendicular is going to be negative. Parallel is same slope, so it's m equals 0. Perpendicular, however, is going to be undefined because really if you had 0 over 1, when you go to flip it, not equal, when you go to flip it you get 1 over 0. Well, that's undefined. So it has an undefined slope. Okay, and again that's because when you flip it you'd end up with 0 underneath, so it's undefined. Okay, right here, give the equation of a line in slope-intercept form that passes through this point and is parallel to this line. Okay, you are writing the equation of a line. Anytime you are asked to do that, you're going to do the 3 steps. Step 1 is find the slope. Well, we know it's parallel to this line. Well, the slope of this line is 3, so because it's parallel, we're going to have 3 for our slope as well, for the new line. Now we're given the slope and a point. We don't use this any longer. We only use this line to find our slope. So now we're going to plug it into point slope. Y minus R2 equals 3 times x minus our x1, which is a -1. Double negative comes positive. Step 3, solve for y. Y minus 2 equals 3x plus 3. Add 2. And we get y equals 3x plus 5. Now, do these have the same slope? Yes, so they're parallel. The only thing you need to make sure of is this point on this line? Well, you can do this by hand. You can say 2 equals 3 times -1 and see if the left equals the right. So I get -3 plus 5, so I get 2 is equal to 2. The other way you can do it is, yes, you can check it on your calculator. Okay, you can go to y equals, let me clear this, okay, and I put in 3x plus 5. Okay, now I'm going to go to my table. I'm going to go to my table and see if that point is in my table. So I'm going to hit second graph because table's in blue. And I'm looking for the point -2, 1. And it is right there. Okay. And even if you wanted to see if it was parallel to this, all you have to do is plug this one in as well, 3x minus 4, and look at the graph. and there's the blue line, which is this one, and this one, you can't tell it's red on here, but that's this line, and they're parallel. Okay, so you can check that. Right here, given the equation of a line in slope-intercept form that passes through 6, 8 and is perpendicular to this line. Now, so we need to know the slope. I know that it's going to be the opposite reciprocal. But the first thing is, I've got to find what the slope of this line is. So I got to solve for y. I'm going to take the 5x to the other side by subtracting it. So I get 2y equals negative 5x plus 10. Divide everything you see by 2. Whoops. 10. Not that that's going to matter, but y equals negative 5 halves x plus 5, because the reason I said it doesn't matter is we're not using this anyway. Okay, so the reason I found this is because I know the slope here is this negative 5 over 2, but I need to write one that's opposite reciprocal of that. So I am going to, because it's perpendicular, I'm going to flip it and go 2/5 and change the sign so it's going to be positive. All right, so we're good. We found our slope. We're not going to use this anymore. Now we're going to go to point slope. Y minus 8 equals 2/5 x minus 6. Okay. Now, step 3, solve for y. Y minus 8 equals 2/5 x minus 12/5. Now I'm going to add 8 to both sides. Let's see, I get y equals 2/5 x plus, I think it's going to be 28/5. Okay, and you can do that part on your calculator. Okay, let me get rid of these, by the way. You can say negative, well, you'll probably use your fraction. Sorry, I'm using my one at home. It doesn't do the same thing as at school. Negative 12/5, you could put that negative in front, plus 8, sorry. I already had the answer. I forgot. Let me just do this again. I'll start with my negative 1, and then I'm going to put 12/5. Again, it doesn't matter where that goes, plus 8. And I get 28/5. Okay. Now, how can you tell if these two lines are perpendicular in this point? First thing is, this point has to be on this line. So I'm going to go to y equals. I'm going to plug this in. 2/5. You have to put that x in or it's wrong. Plus, and you can do this by division if you want instead of putting in fractions. Okay. I'm going to hit my table. So I'm going to go to second table. And I need to see, is 6, 8 in there? So I got negatives here, so I got to go to my positive 6. And there it is, 6, 8. So I know that's right. The only other thing is, are these perpendicular? Well, if you multiply their two slopes, you will get a -1. Negative 10 over 10. And it gives us a -1 because that's what perpendicular opposite reciprocals give you. Okay, -1. So I know they're perpendicular. Okay. Right here. Create a model using linear regression. You've got this bunch of data. They've plotted it on an x and y coordinate. Our x is time spent studying in hours. Our midterm score is going up our y-axis. And then they figured out what the line of best fit is. Okay, and later on in the semester, or actually in about a couple weeks, we're going to be given all this a bunch of data points, and then we're going to find that line. But right now, they give us that equation. It's right here. So it says, use the equation of line of best fit, right here, to answer the questions below. Give exact answers, not rounded approximation. This means use the equation above, not the graph shown. Okay, so we're going to use this, not necessarily the graph. Okay, so what is the predicted midterm score for a student who studies for 15 hours? Well, my X right here was my time spent in hours, okay? And my Y is my midterm score. So what I'm going to do is studies 15 hours, so my X is equal to 15. I'm going to take my X out, and I'm going to plug it in. 3.83 times 15 plus 15.68. Let your calculator do that work. Always be careful and double check your answer, especially when taking a test, okay? Because it's easy to plug in the wrong number. Okay, 3.83 times 15 plus 15.68. And you would expect to get a 73.13 on your midterm if you studied 15 hours. Okay. What is the predicted midterm score for a student who doesn't spend any time studying? Well, that means our X is 0. We didn't spend any time. So Y equals, it's going to give us our y-intercept. Because that's what happens. All our y-intercepts is when our X is 0. So you take this, you plug in 0 there, that gives us 0. So you can expect to get a 15.68 on your midterm score if you don't study. Now we don't have a midterm. So now, for an increase of 1 hour in time spent studying, what is the predicted increase in midterm score? That is going to be your slope. That is what your slope does. For every 1 hour, it's going to increase it by 3.83. So I'm going to make it my slope. Okay. Now I can tell you this. Okay. So if you studied 0, you would have gotten a 15.68, right? If you'd studied 1 hour, you'd say 3.83 times 1 plus that 15.68. Okay, and you would have gotten this. Well, if I take this minus the 15.68, there's a difference of 3.8, almost 4 points. Same thing up here, okay? Oops, I don't really know why I did that. Okay, yeah, there we go. So that gave me that. Well, let's say I studied 16 hours. I'm just proving it to you, okay? And it gives you this. Well, if you take that and you subtract the 76.96 minus the 73.13, you get that 3.83. So that's what that slope does. Just be careful in ALEKS. Watch for wording in ALEKS. Predicted increase, decrease, and change are slightly different. For example, if it's like this is a predicted decrease because our slope is negative.